Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We have the Black J bass that we did the refret and neck reset and a whole bunch of work on. This is going to be probably the last video for this thing. We're going to restring it, we're going to do the setup on it, and we're going to play it a little bit. So let's get to work. Remember, if you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. We're in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We'd love to work on your instrument. If you need us, you can get on 396guitars.com. All the information you need on there. String of choice today. That's what I use, except no substitutes. Great stuff. You can see that the neck still looks thick and black and rich. It's amazing to me that when you sand something down and it looks horrible, and you put a little linseed oil, once you get it smoothed out, put a little linseed oil on it, it brings it right back to life. So let's get right to it. This is going to basically be a restring kind of a tutorial, but it's the end of a long series on this bass. You can check out everything we've done. Go back and look at the Black J bass. We refretted it, so we took this original neck off. We had a donor neck on the guitar to play it in the meantime while we were doing the refret job, because as you know, life gets in the way and interrupts everything, and you can't always just start something and finish it right away. Sometimes it works out, but sometimes not. So yeah, we pulled many videos in this series pulling the frets off, showing the entire process of removing them, cleaning up everything. Refret job, not my favorite thing to do, but when you want to keep a neck original to the body together, sometimes that's what happens, and people want that sometimes. But I digress. I like these strings a lot. They last for a long time. In fact, both of my basses are coming up due on 8 or 9 months with these strings on them. And I'm just now getting to where I'm going to change them. And I play a lot. Only because of time. I'm just going to change them because that's the way I am. It's not like they're grungy or nasty or whatever. And yeah, you're going to go and you're going to find out that these strings are a little bit more expensive. And I say a little bit more, not a ton. But they last so much longer. And stainless steel, round wound. Can't go wrong. I mean, I love them. I love them to death. The E, I'm pretty sure it's red, yeah. We're going to try to do the through the body because we can. Now on a Strat, I would run all of the strings through at the same time. On a J bass, I don't do that. They're just too big and bulky, and the potential to scratch something up, and this girl's already got enough character on her. We don't need to give her some more. Make sure you're pulled all the way through. You know this exercise. The string is going to live here, and of course it rounds across the saddle. You want to go 1 1/2 and cut it. So 1 1/2. And cut it. The object is to try to get at least 2 wraps on there. Goes in the hole, comes around. Make sure your wraps go under successively and follow down. You can see the tool I was bitching about in the last video is still here. It's still here because I'm waiting for the one that I want to come on sale. Oh, baby. I think we're going to pull you over one. forgot. I'll put my Fender clip-on tuner just to check while we're moving. I don't know where the setup will be on this bass. We have to. You can hear some buzzing because, of course, the way the bass was set up before, those frets had been ground down to nothing. And they're going to be banging, which means we're going to need to bring saddle height up, neck relief, all that stuff. So we're not going to get too concerned with the tuning at this moment. And yeah, it makes a difference when you put new frets on. Because, well, they're taller and the strings are going to be closer. One, two. Okay, 1, 2. Bear with me. I'm going to probably pause after this string and get the other two on there, get them spaced properly before we move on to the setup. EA. I want you to be over one more. There we go. Let's see if we can get the A to tune up. Sounds like it's not banging on the frets as bad. Still twanging a little bit on the frets. As we get more string tension on it, it's going to pull the neck into relief. So I'm going to pause really quickly, put the other two strings on, then we're going to space them up and make sure we look good. Stand by. Okay, we're back. I did tune it as I was going along. That's not super important right at this moment. Remember, had the neck off, did a whole bunch of work getting the neck centered where we want. I always put spacing saddles on my Fenders because that way you can adjust the way that you play. Not only that, but getting your strings straight and even on the fretboard is critical in any instrument. I don't care if you're talking about a Les Paul, a Strat, a J bass, a P bass, or whatever you're playing. You also want them to go across your magnet holes and split them properly. So what I usually do is I pick the last dot or the same fret and you measure. And what we have is just under 1/2 centimeter space there. And I'm sorry if my head is in the way. And just under 1/2 centimeter space there. As you get up here, it's much, much less. It's a J bass, very narrow neck. Also, you want to check string to string, and they should be identical. And they are. I've got 1.5, just under 1.5 there. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5 centimeters. So it's critical that you have the correct string spacing. And yes, to get that spacing, I had to move these strings. The saddles have different spaces that you can pluck it over a millimeter this way, a millimeter that way, or centered. And that's the way I like these saddles, and I use them on all my basses because once I get used to playing it in a certain position, that's where I leave it. Whether it's even exact perfect over here, it doesn't matter to me. Every player is different, and you should be able to adjust that. A good instrument, Leo Fender had it right. You should be able to adjust that. You know, on the old P basses when they were first invented, they were smooth, but you could move the string laterally, ever so slightly, but sometimes it makes a big difference. So let's tune her up. First, let's stretch them a little bit, and then we're going to go to checking. All of our well, all that buzzing has gone away, so you know where we're going with this. You have to check everything. Once you've had a guitar apart, as far as this one was apart, I mean, we basically decapitated it. We took its neck off. The body's been sitting around with a different neck on it, being played in a different way. Now this neck is back on there, but this neck has been sitting in a straight condition for so long that we don't know where the relief is. And that's why we're doing this, to check it. Okay, but with the first fret, I can see that the string height is monstrously high. And part of that is that, yeah, it needs a little more. It's too loose. There's too much. There's too much relief in it. Definitely need to tighten it up, which I don't like on these kind, but that's what we have to deal with. And I know somewhere I have the exact right tool to fit down in there. It may take me a moment to find it. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to pause quickly. I want to find the ball end fender to get into that truss rod adjustment. I don't use it a lot because I don't like to put a ball end on those, but I'm going to have to do it on this one, so stand by. So what did we do? We got in there, we relieved it slightly, or actually we added relief. Took away relief to make it a little tighter. I'm getting to where I'm just going to check it now. That is better. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. So sometimes you get lucky. I had to find the right ball end, and yeah, it's a trial sometimes. And I don't usually use ball ends, but I did on this one because I didn't want to have to take the neck off after we just got it set. I would really like to avoid that. So we're going to continue with the setup, which is string height, which I can see from right here somehow is going a little cattywampus on us from what we had on there before with the other neck, but that's understandable. Yeah, we're way high. I mean, way high. So, you know where we're going with that. Right there. I believe it is this guy. Not so much for what you believe in. Sorry for the delay. Let's see. So we know that they're all really high. I'm going to back them all off. And this is because the other neck, it was this thing, the body and the bridge was set up for the other neck. The other neck could have been different in the way it's set in the pocket. It wasn't as deep or whatever. I'm going to back this off a full 1.5 turns each and get them level. We've got plenty of room, it looks like. And then we're going to remeasure and remeasure. This will probably take a few minutes. Make sure that you keep your saddles as level as you can to the plane of the body. You don't want, one side of the saddle obviously higher than the other one. You want them to be as level as possible, sight down as often as you can to make sure that they're level. Let's remeasure. Took them all down about 1.5 to 2 turns. And that should get us closer. That's a little tall. So the E needs to come down. The E needs to come down still. Watch out for my head. I don't know if I'm even in the video. Another 1/2 turn. I'm looking for 5/64, you know that. That's it. Yahtzee. And for sure, D wants to come down as well. Not a lot, but some. And just bring them down equally on each side of the saddle. Oh, went too far. Up. Up. 5/64. 5/64. That is how you set the saddle. Now we have to tune everything because we raised it and we're gonna that changed the pitch. Tune it back to pitch. Oh yeah, I went way flat. Yeah, you hear how everything went flat because we lowered everything and just turned all the strings into a slinky. And you need that string tension on there to keep the neck relief tight. Got a little bit of buzzing on the E, open. And we don't know where our pickups are either. Why did we go through that exercise? Because we got brand new frets on this guitar. And if you had a high fret or a low fret, you'd know it in an instant. Not one high fret, and the high frets are the ones you want to worry about. That's why you work on a wood bench. Wood on wood doesn't do damage. If that was a metal bench, bang! Okay, so that is great news. We have no high frets, and that's like the best news since we put all new frets on this and did a fret leveling. Sometimes I giggle at myself. The strings are still stretching, but we have no buzzing. It's all tuned up. Things are stretching still. So the last thing we're going to check this should not have changed. And it hasn't, because that's the distance between here and here. That stayed the same. That measurement never changed. String height, different thickness of the neck, new frets are taller and thicker. Believe me, these are fat frets. This guitar is going to sound awesome. This guitar is done. Everything's been set. The only thing I got to check up here is, but I didn't hear any buzzing, but I can tell you if we're too close here, and I'm going to show this really quickly, then that means that nut needs to be replaced. I used the same nut from before, and I can tell it's really low. I'm going to use the 18 thousandths. Too close. I mean, it's negotiable, but it's pretty close. We're getting some first fret buzzing there. Yeah, I have a feeling there's a new nut in the future for this guitar. That nut's 30 years old, and I could tell when I had the guitar apart that they were really low. That's really I can hear it buzzing up here on the first fret, just on the. I mean, if you really get aggressive, not the A, not the D, the G, and the E. If you really get aggressive, and those are the ones on the outside, I might just fill them and bring them up, but they're a little tight up here, but I knew that. But it's playing fine. As long as you don't pluck too aggressively, you're okay. I might just salvage that nut because it's original to the guitar and do my bone fill. You know, we put a little bone powder and super glue in there. That's pretty much it. This guitar is ready to rock. I don't see any reason that I wouldn't plug this in and start to play it. We might be able to do that. Let's see where we're at. Love it. Let's see if I can get in the video. I love it. It sounds awesome. I mean, it really sounds punchy. Love it. It's a beautiful thing. This guitar is alive and ready to rock. Shut that off. Blackjack with 396 guitars. Thanks for coming along for the ride. We had a great time doing this series on this jazz bass refretting. Go back and check the videos. It helps me out a lot. Like and subscribe. Dig on what I'm doing. If you do, make some comments. I love to read them. We'll talk soon.